tanks. They are there to destroy tanks. They are not very tough. Allied tank destroyers never were. They relied on speed and their big guns. So remember that. Don't try to fight German panzers from the front. Never ever. German panzers were specifically designed to be pretty tough nuts to break from the front. So repeat after me. Do not try to engage German armor from the front. There we go. Hope you enjoyed this fight. If you did, why not subscribe? If you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own? This is Impale Dane saying cheers and try to do better than these chaps in the future. Cheers, Panzer Division, and let us get right down to it. And Kettenkrad on the way. Another Kettenkrad, apparently Vexial going for a rather territory heavy start with some Panzer Grenadiers to support up. Barracks going out for Coop. What shall our British friend be doing? Just sending out his reconnaissance troops, possibly going to set up here, for example. Not the unusual spot to try and control the center of the map, more or less. We'll have to see how that will work out. For the American, though, he will certainly be playing the more aggressive part with riflemen. This is good to see, always a bit more effective. Wehrmacht quarters up from KriegDasVaterland. Question is, what sort of strategy will he be going for? Will it be a sort of more defensive one, trying to support Vexial's Panzer Grenadiers? Or will he be going for infantry himself to sort of try and actually carry a damn fight? I mean, sometimes you really see those players who sort of want to hang back and not really help or sort of take any risks themselves, which can rather end up badly because, again, they don't really do much. But first Panzer Grenadier team is actually ready. Gewehr 43 being equipped. Kettenkrad securing what they can. Pioneers heading towards the center, right into the lap of this infantry section. Reconnaissance section opening up. Pioneers not retreating. What on earth is he doing? Sending up behind heavy cover, but they're not going to last long. And we are seeing Volksgrenadiers faint. Heavens, but these pioneers need to retreat. They cannot survive for much longer. KriegDasVaterland, there's no sense in wasting pioneers. Come on. And there we go, finally retreating. Panzer Grenadiers moving in to support. Kettenkrad coming under fire from engineers. And Volksgrenadiers now moving in to support the Panzer Grenadiers, opening up a bit more fire support against the British. Point has been secured, and again note this sort of tiny pennant right there. That's usually a sort of key as to if it's secured by a truck or something like that. Riflemen and engineers moving in to support, meaning things are not really in the favor of the Wehrmacht forces. Or why are these Panzer Grenadiers not helping? Why are they just standing about? And now he's leaning behind KriegDasVaterland's forces, and a bike moves in, but he needs to get out of there after Vexial pulled out. And looks like a Kettenkrad was blown up. Looks like the Panzer Grenadiers are heading southward. The bike sort of milling about a bit aimlessly. Bren carrier charging forwards. Foxy Cox are going for that Bren action right there. Bike opening up on it, but doesn't really hit anything. Engineers coming under fire now. Panzer Grenadiers continuing their march southwards, shooting at engineers as they go. And the North British forces are pushing onwards. Kettenkrad and Pioneers taking the same point. Not quite efficient right there. Bike under heavy fire, needs to get out of there, but looks like it won't make it. And bike lost. Not quite good handling there by KriegDasVaterland. Panzer Grenadiers opening up on the engineers, forcing them away. Riflemen moving in from the north. Panzer Grenadiers forced into retreat by then. British continuing to just take away what they can. It seems like another infantry section is ready. The Brenker now with the Vickers machine gun. Nice upgrade, turns the Brenker into a nice stable platform for firepower and makes it quite lethal. Further Panzer Grenadiers arriving, although running in without support. Vexial, why are you doing this? You know there's an enemy there with a Vickers and all that. Why do you then insist on sending in your Panzer Grenadiers? Retreat. Retreat. Oh dear, much too late, much too late. And now an MG42. My goodness, aren't they paying attention to the center? Why are they just sending in units? And now KriegDasVaterland might be losing an MG42. Why isn't he retreating? Oh dear, they really aren't paying attention, are they? There we go, MG42 team lost. Again, sort of try to pay attention. I know sometimes bad things happen because you sort of forget where you put your rally points, but do try. I mean, if your opponent's holding the center, you perhaps ought to sort of figure, oh right, perhaps I not send units in there aimlessly. And now another bike is being sent in, but no further infantry. And of course, due to the lack of everything else, he currently only has one Volksgrenadier team on the field and a bike. Otherwise, everything else has been shot up. And I can't help but feel there's not a proper coordination between the two Pioneers and Panzer Grenadiers going for the same points, or Kettenkrauts and Pioneers. This is not really a good start for the 1st SS at all. Rather a bit messy, rather a bit uncoordinated, to say the least. Kampfgruppe Company now up. Nothing coming out of this as yet. Volksgrenadiers only on these infantry section troops. Well, it looks like the infantry section is holding the better cover. Riflemen getting gunned down, getting suppressed by a suppressor volley from Panzer Grenadiers, getting shot up close. Not going to end up well for these riflemen. They need to retreat, Mr. Coop. Get out of there, Coop. Coop. Whatever. Sort of depends on how you want to pronounce it. Another MG42. Rather a lot of manpower has been spent early on for KriegDasVaterland, and question is, will be having any anti-tank as it in case the Allies go for something armored. That's rather a bit of a problem for him. MG42 gets flanked. Needs to retreat. It is exposed. KriegDasVaterland retreat. And there we go, retreating. And of course the Allies are having quite an advantage. And he lost another MG42. My goodness, doesn't he know anything about MG42 positioning? And when to get out of there. Again, there's a key to knowing when to retreat. And that usually is when there's absolutely no chance of anything good coming out of it. Even it in being in a slightly exposed situation. And there we go, infantry after up from Vexial. Looks like Vexial will be having to pull most of the weight of this start of the game. 4 Panzer Grenadier teams rather clumped up. Have to be careful about that. Riflemen moving for all sides. They are rather exposed at the same time. Engineers moving in with a flamethrower. Will they be focused down again? An engineer team with a flamethrower is usually a priority target. 3 Panzer Grenadiers getting scorched, it looks like. And a team lost. Oh dear, Vexial. Oh dear. Now the Panzer Grenadiers are left to deal with these riflemen. Riflemen are out in the open. At least some of them are trying to fire away. Panzer Grenadiers getting close to the half-track, but they are taking losses. Further riflemen arriving. Infantry half-track continues to fire away, killing Americans as it goes. And riflemen keep pushing onwards. Panzer Grenadiers continuing to reinforce. Bike now arriving to provide a bit of additional firepower. Panzer Grenadiers just dying and slowly being chewed up right here in the front of the half-track. Dead and wounded all around it. This is the half-track of death, although whose death is of course hard to say. And now taking up position in this old shed of some sort. Panzer Grenadiers pulling out of the line of fire. Brenker now moving in, leaving this a rather hazardous and exposed position. Some chaps heading into another wooden shed, it looks like. Riflemen getting gunned down. The infantry half-track doing its utmost best, but they need to get out of there now that the biggest machine gun really has pushed onwards, and things are not really looking good for the forces of the 1st SS. Heavy losses on all sides, and rather not a lot of territory. It looks like a Krieg barracks is going up. Only 1 Volksgrenadier team and a sniper. Everything else has been lost again and again. Sniper now moving in, and looks like what remains of KriegDasVaterland's forces will need to retreat post-haste. And looks like a mistake was made here, charging right into the Panzer Elite base and the flak feelings. Flak feelings being quite useful against Brenker and such. So that was a small relief for the forces of the Axis. Not really the best start things can happen, but then at the same time I can't really help but shake the feeling that some things are not quite right. And there's going a 3rd MG42 team. Not really conducive at all. And still only 1 infantry unit, my goodness. And Pioneers getting shot at once more. We'll be seeing any actual grenadiers. We'll be seeing any sort of usefulness coming out of KriegDasVaterland, who has rather at this stage not really achieved that much, I fear. Not to be unfriendly or harsh, but really 2 MG42 teams that way is not quite comforting. Volksgrenadiers advancing, MG42 in support. Infantry section reconnaissance, in fact. And looks like assault going in. He has gone for blitzkrieg, as you might notice with this sort of nice tank. MG42 sitting up to covering the flank of the advance. Engineers moving into the flamethrower. The Fox Grenadiers, though, are continuing to hunt after, but they finally realize, oh wait, there's engineers with flamethrowers. We have to save the MG42, which also fires away. Engineers could, in fact, be cut down. And then it turns back, and of course, he probably did this by himself. Of course, there's a trick to that. Basically, you wait until the MG42 has fired, and then you sort of order it to attack something else. Otherwise, it will, in fact, repack. And Panzer Grenadiers taking heavy losses will need to retreat. Others are advancing in. Looks like they have been equipped with assault rifles, SDG-44s. Panzer Grenadiers did not make it out of there. Oh dear, Vexial, but still you're managing some losses, it looks like. The infantry object with the assault rifles in it, doing quite a bit of damage. Infantry section is down. Bren gun left behind. Looks like a Pack 30 is up. Kampfkraft center as well. Infantry half-track tearing through all the Britons. Armored car ready as well, but it looks like it's not doing anything at this stage. KriegDasVaterland's forces pushing onwards towards the north. Volksgrenadiers leading the charge. Sniper supporting. MG42 hanging a bit about but moving upwards now as well. And another assault being used. Rather bold at this stage. And looks like the infantry half-track is doing quite a bit of damage. Another infantry section down for the British. That's 2 infantry sections down. 900 manpower. Absolutely incredible. That could be rather what turn things around for the Axis, or at least gives them time to reorganize and actually get something sensible out of there. And looks like the half-track is charging in once more. Assault rifle Panzer Grenadiers in it. Just a quick check. He has 2 teams in it though, so let's just briefly explain why is he doing that. Because it doesn't need to. I mean, usually in those cases you'd actually want to pop out one team, since only one team at a time really can't get any effect out of it. In that case, you might as well pop one out, had it stand up there, and deliver even more firepower onto the British. There we go, letting Foxy Coxy, or whatever silly name that is though, have his share. Infantry section taking heavy losses. Unable to really report, though a field support truck is up. American pushing onwards, although interestingly enough, we haven't seen anything except a barracks from him. I wonder why. Perhaps he's been taking too much manpower losses. Just a quick note. No, he's apparently floating a ridiculous amount of resources. That's not a good sign either. Let's return to Foxy Coxy and the British for the moment. Armored cars now charging towards the center, opening up on the riflemen. And again, floating resources like that is never a good sign. Know how to manage your resources. It is a vital skill in company affairs, on the battlefield as well as off the battlefield. Volksgrenadiers moving in to support the armored cars by the look of things. Riflemen taking up position in heavy coal, which is quite helpful if in fact against armored cars. Infantry half-track getting repaired by the Panzer Grenadiers, though KriegDasVaterland is not providing any help in actual repairs, since Pioneers are better than Panzer Grenadiers. Pioneers instead are engaging the reconnaissance section. I can't again help but feel there isn't a proper coordination between the two at all. Most disparaging, whereas the Allies do seem to be a bit more coordinated at this stage. MG42 and Volksgrenadiers get taking on these infantry section troops with their Bren guns. And looks like Stormtrooping or further, it says Panzer Grenadiers have arrived. This time from KriegDasVaterland with Panzer Treks and bundle grenades, taking out an entire infantry team. But standing in front of the Bren guns is really a good idea, and these Stormtroopers need to retreat. There we go. Oh dear, heavy losses on the retreat. Again, unit preservation doesn't really seem to be his forte, or knowing when to attack as well. I mean, you don't send in a unit like that to attack your opponent's headquarters. Oh dear, KriegDasVaterland, you seem to be a bit slipping up. Certainly not your best game this is. At least I hope not. Armored cars hanging about, need to get moving. And by get moving, I mean get moving. MG42 getting cleared out. Pack 38 trying to maneuver in so he can catch the Stuart. There we go. Engine destroyed. The Stuart light tank is in dire peril. Further Stormtroopers arriving, not using his grenadiers despite having a Krieg barracks. Fair enough, no medic bunkers either. That would have actually been rather nice to synergize with the Panzer Grenadiers, of course. No anti-tank assets for Vexial, which is rather proving to be quite a hazard, since, of course, the Pack 38 that can't help him. Stuart trying to drive away from the Pack 38. Commandos now getting ready. Oh dear, this is going to end up badly for the Pack. And an allied assault stormtroopers doing their best, but commandos are popping in behind them. Oh dear, another dire blow, although looks like armored cars are charging in, but these stormtroopers need to retreat. There we go, armored cars tearing through the allied forces. The allied forces are doing quite nicely, and looks like, there we go. Apparently Coop was saving up for a tank depot, although again, I don't like resources sort of being lumped up like that. They could have been used to rather gain a greater advantage, but then again, the allies are pretty much holding most of the map, although it looks like a slight foothold has been established in the eastern foothills. Rather, Panzer trying to take out this Steward. And there we go, Stormtrooper securing the kill. Commandos charging in, MG42, Panzer grenades and everything else. Smoke being used. Renders them temporarily invisible. Very sneaky. And there we go, flanking the MG42 and clearing it out in seconds. What will the Stormtroopers do? I don't know. Looks like they will be teared apart by the Commandos. Sten guns blazing. The Sten gun, the British attempt at sort of creating an MP40 equivalent. That is a cheap submachine gun that was actually quite effective. German veteran troops would also use it, since it actually had the advantage over the MP40 that it actually had a sort of clip sticking out to the side rather than below, which made it a bit more useful in the prone situation. Plus, the Sten gun was sort of actually designed to actually use German ammunition, so there's no problem there really. Pulse grenades trying to take on the commandos, but they're also getting torn apart. Once commandos get close, you generally want to get out of there unless you have submachine guns of your own. And the armored cars sort of seem to be milling about. Pioneers, other stormtroopers not moving in to deal with the commandos. Again, KriegDasVaterland, what is going on here? And now another glider dropping in. This time though, a Hamilcar glider with the Tetrarch light tank in it. My goodness. And Pioneers trying to recruit the MG42. A bit of a waste of Pioneers though. And of course didn't work, since the commandos proceeded to clear that out as well. Vexial's forces pressing on in the south. And let's go look at Coop, who has gone for the tank destroyer. Going to be quite a... oh, he already has one. Going to be quite a problem for the Axis, in particular Vexial, with all his armored cars. And again, no anti-tank assets. I mean, really, at this stage, you ought to have something, and perhaps something a bit more sturdy than just Panzer, since they're rather more close support. And Tetrarch getting its little John adapter upgrade, I believe. Panzer grenades heading towards the center, but again forced away by Rifleman. Not entirely sure what Vexial hope to achieve by that. And Hellcat heading southwards. Panzer grenades right in the line of fire. Need to get out of there. 50 caliber machine gun firing away. Not looking good for these fellows. And British securing what they can in the north. Stu 42 now moving in to support what remains of this force. MG42 recruit again by stormtroopers this time, it seems. Although I hope he didn't use an entire team for that. Stu 42 advancing, taking a few shots from the Tetrarch. And Tetrarch just continues firing. The Stu 42 can't seem to hit, and now the Pack 30 has been recruited as well, rendering the Stu 42 unable to really help. At this stage, not looking good for KriegDasVaterland again, although this time is actually focusing up his forces. Stu 42 dealing with the northern troops, but its engine is horribly damaged. Another pack shot and it's going to be gone. There we go, out of control. Stormtroopers and full grenades doing the best. MG42 not covering the north, which then proceeds to get flanked by Bren Gunners. Grenades getting lobbed at the Stormtrooper clump. Commandos running away. Armored half-track moving in. Panzer in it, apparently. And there we go, destroyed engine. And, well, Panzer are really the only thing where you can have numerous squads to actually get the full effect, but not other weapons, generally. Anti-tank gun getting cleared out. Could be recruit. Looks like Vexial is turning things around, finally coordinating a bit. The tank destroyer, though, unstopped, because, again, Vexial himself doesn't really have any proper anti-tank assets, but whether this a Hetzer. Hetzers weren't there in Normandy, so let's just imagine it's a Stu 3, but of course we'll refer to it as the Hetzer, but still sort of same size, and they both have a remote control anti-tank gun. And the half-track knocks out the Hellcat, but not before itself gets knocked out. Panzer grenades, though, actually make it out. They're surprisingly safe. Commandos holding the line as... no, Stormtroopers and full grenades holding the line as Commandos keep charging in. Although the forces are close to a breaking point, need to retreat. Partially at least. And why aren't they focusing? Then they ignore... And there we go, Stormtrooper team lost. Panzer check obtained. And these commandos then need to retreat. I'm not entirely sure what KriegDasVaterland is up to. I mean, he keeps... Oh, his unit preservation is absolutely down in the dumps again. I mean, really keep note of this. This is not how you want to do it again. You need to sort of evolve an idea of when to retreat, and rather KriegDasVaterland doesn't seem to have it. Most distressing, most distressing. So far, the Hetzer seems to be the only sort of real anti-tank asset which can sort of deal with things decently. The Axis have a demolition charge being laid down by the commandos. MG-42 catching them, forcing the commandos into a swift retreat. Heads opening up, not really doing much there. Floating a bit of resources. Coop is still doing. I'm not entirely keen on that. They're going for a lot of tank destroyers. No tanks. That could actually be of help to sort of nail in things. And looks like a rifle now being used to sort of recruit this anti-tank gun, but the entire team is lost. That is an absolute waste of manpower. Again, don't send in troops like that. Retreat in those cases. But let us return to Vexial. Armored cars charging forwards. What remains of his Panzer grenadiers moving forwards as well, although looks like another infantry attack has been prepared to provide a mobile anti-tank platform. And looks like another assault going in on the British base, which is utterly undefended in a sense. No emplacements, no sappers to actually lay down mines or anything. It looks like the Americans will have to move in to support this rather exposed British base. I mean, again, be careful with leaving bases this exposed. Hellcat moving forwards, catching a few allied tanks and its Axis vehicles in its sights. Another Hellcat moving in. Dawn of the Hellcats, finding away at those armored cars which are rather exposed. And the half-track moves forward. Why didn't it just disgorge the infantry? It's rather, oh dear, there we go. Went up in flames. Panzer grenadiers still continuing to fire away from the cover of the wrecked half-track. Hetzer also doing a bit of what it can. Another Hellcat going to be knocked out. Again, a Sherman, and those Panzer grenadiers wouldn't have been any problem. Another Hellcat down the drain. Tank busters suffering rather heavy losses. Headquarters command truck knocked out. Armored cars blazing away at the commandos, at the other chaps, causing heavy losses. The British commander again having not really defended his forward post. Again, that's rather a problem. Again, you have to be careful in those cases. I mean, if you're going to head up that far, be prepared to defend it. And the trouble is, he wasn't.
We have destroyed an enemy unit.
Engineers cleared out in the north by KriegDasVaterland's rather damaged forces. Heads are facing off against the Hellcat. Fun fact about the Hellcat, actually, it had pretty thin armor. It was so thin, in fact, that if this was probably a slightly more realistic game, this armor car could have driven up to the side and knocked it out in one salvo. Fun fact. Otherwise, time for the mid-game analysis. What is the situation? Well, currently, the Wehrmacht has taken quite a beating. The first SS not really having improved its elite name so far, but they are slightly turning things around. Some good assault right here on the major weak point of the British, the rather forward exposed base. And so far, no actual buildings to recover the wounded from either side. Either not good at all, though. But still, the Wehrmacht is slowly turning things around. The Panzer lead as well. KriegDasVaterland is sort of catching up now, sort of slightly salvaging things. Not losing a ridiculous amount of troops this time around. Although still ought to not have lost so much in the beginning nonetheless. The Allies, on the other hand, are starting to lose again, particularly to this sort of thing, and sort of no tanks. Just lots of tank destroyers, which the tank busters rather took advantage of and knocked out most of them, in fact. So not looking good at all. I'd rather guess a mismatching and misunderstanding of how things actually work. Again, tank destroyers aren't tanks, they never will be. But as in terms of the Vexial, why are you floating so much manpower? You used to be actually pretty decent on that behalf, but apparently... Oh wait, it could be he's going for Panthers. Of course, let's not forget things to make too hasty conclusions, but still... Then you actually need to research the things rather than just saving up the resources. Otherwise, again, you're just doing your opponent a favor. Panzer grenadiers advancing, charging. Clearing out those riflemen, but forced to retreat. Stormtroopers moving in, no assault rifles for them though. anti-tank on recruit, and again using a pioneer team. Why not the Volksgrenadiers once they've been fully reinforced? Women just there. It's more expensive to use entire pioneer teams and just not worth it. And there we go, Panzer Command upgrade, finally spending some resources again, and probably using, yes, there we go, Panzer Support Command. Head to providing support for the tank Stormtroopers, but Stormtroopers are forced away. Nicht gut, mein Freund. Looks like the British are once more moving forward for King George, the Union Jack and tea and crumpets. Commanders popping in with a bit of smoke, hoping to get the drop on this Hetzer. Ambush mode for the Hetzer though, not quite worth it. Trust me, it isn't. It actually is pretty rubbish. But ahead on the rear, and of course it can't actually move once it is, but there we go. Rather getting out of it and trying to get away. Forces here not trying to support it, sadly, although it looks like KriegDasVaterland is getting there. DN actually repairing Vexial's vehicles. Hetzer knocked out. Not entirely sure why he did it like that. I mean, he would rather have been better to keep it here. Not proper dispersal of resources in that case. Armored cars and MG42 blasting away at any sort of troops trying to attack up the cliffside. Commanders dropping smoke. Getting closer, perhaps hoping to get off a grenade on that MG42, but the armored cars are ready again. Will they focus down? Yes, there we go. Commandos torn apart. Hellcats though moving forward. Panzer Grenadiers counter-attacking. Tank busters and all the other bits. Will they be able to break through this mess? Hellcats blasting away, so the Commandos and the Hellcats are taking quite a fusillade. Main gun destroyed another one and knocked out. The Panzer Grenadiers, and we are seeing air support being leveled in. Getting quite a few here again, blobbing up. Not good, in particular when you have an American opponent. They might go just for that strafing run there, and there we go, heavy losses, but KriegDasVaterland ready to provide oomph in this assault. And moving in with his Stormtroopers, but still no assault rifles for them. British troops forced away. Armored cars getting repaired. Panzer Support Command upgrade on the way. Nothing else from KriegDasVaterland though. Another Stu 42 though, and some veterans for it. I've been continuing to hold the line right here, trying to delay them. No defenses though up from Coop. No sandbags, no mines, no barbed wire or anything. Now, grenades getting locked up on a grenade, and an infantry team knocked out. But they are pinned down and rather heavily wounded. Looks like a Stormtrooper team has been lost. Quite tragic. Stu 42 fast in response, and looks like it actually didn't get anyone. And further Hellcats. Again, I'm not entirely keen on this. Again, this is not going to be a pro game. I'm not really getting a lot of those. This rather seemed to be last week. This time it's just more mediocre and lots of mistakes. So let's just call it Mistakes Week. Although I still have some of my own coming, so don't worry about that. But still, again, I can only cast what I have. So if you feel like I'm not providing any sort of high level enough games, send them in. If you feel like you can provide them. Otherwise, I can't really do anything. I'm not a magician. Armored cars moving forward straight into the Hellcats. Oh dear, and looks like an infantry section is cleared out. And looks like a glider is being provided. No armored command track up from our British friend. But let's go look at KriegDasVaterland. What is he doing? Further tracks. No buildings. Infantry getting reinforced. Stu 42 exposed. Hellcats moving in from the rear. Pack 38 though is clear. A single Panzer check is all that is needed. Vexial provided. There we go. Assault grenades moving in, and looks like a strafing run went in, killing most of the tank busters. Stu 42 in a rather nasty spot. Hellcat advancing. Stu 42 needs to retreat. KriegDasVaterland. Fall back, mate. Fall back. Tetrak going in for the kill on the armored cars. Die Sonderkraftfahrzeugs 22. MG42 trying to cover, but it is too far away, and the Pack 38 is stolen once more by the Americans, using an entire engineer team. Not good at economics though. Again, don't use engineer teams to recruit things like that. Use inexpensive infantry, since you can reinforce those, and that tends to actually be pretty much cheaper. Further continuing to send in the Stormtroopers. How long can this go on? Not really looking comforting. Vexial also reinforcing and whatnot. No Panzer command or anything like that from KriegDasVaterland. Airborne dropping in the north, quite sneaky right there, combined with the reconnaissance run and taking that victory point. And hang on. And my apologies, that was my mother calling. But let us return to the fight. Panzer grenadiers in the center and are getting absolutely slaughtered. Oh dear, the inhumanity, not sure why they keep clumping up when there are strafing runs above. Panzer grenadiers heading in towards the center. Or stormtroopers, well, as says Panzer grenadiers, I suppose. Right, holding out behind some wrecked Stu 42, holding the line again. Wreckage camp, right, nice heavy covers, of course. Always nice to use it like that. Button grenades, though, getting dropped, and they don't retreat, clearing out. Again, button grenades actually quite nice, although a bit expensive. And looks like Vexial is calling in the heavy armored support, Panzer. Charging forwards, and looks like this field support truck is rather nicely exposed, although it looks like a lot of allied forces are charging in towards the center. Lots of gliders, lots of Tetrarchs, my goodness, that fellow seems quite in love with it. It looks like he's rather changed his MO to a glider company of some sort. Armor car number 2 knocked out, but the Panthers are still holding the center, and the field support truck is no more. It is gone forever. More tank destroyers, still no Shermans. I'm absolutely disappointed. Panthers moving in, knocking out. Looks like they will be knocking out that Hellcat very soon. Yes, indeed. Anti-tank are not turning him out. Looks like things are going too fast for the Allies, and things are certainly looking desperate for the 1st SS, down to very low hit points. Might have been the Airsuits battalion that was sent in, and it's finally getting a hang of things. Panthers, though, getting flanked. Oh, dear. Why did he send them in so quickly? Oh, dear, now they're getting sticky bombed and knocked out. Anti-tank are knocking out the first one, airdropped, and this one needs to retreat. Vexial, get your Panthers out of there. Looks like he will not. Oh dear. That's 1,000 manpower down the drain right away. There we go. Panther is no more. I'm not entirely sure that was a good thing right there. Pretty sure it wasn't. But at least they're securing some victory points now. But they need to get a more steady grip on things. Otherwise they're going to lose. Storms was forced away. Interestingly enough, there's no actual armor assets from the Allies. I mean, that could rather turn things about for them. Just something as simple as that, but sadly it seems to be not materializing. Instead, looks like Vexial is getting help from the schwere Panzerjägerabteilung 653 with its Jagdpanthers, with its high velocity 88mm flak. Well, not flak, but Kampfwagenkanone, able to knock out pretty much anything. Quite lethal, and looks like at the same time Tigers are being provided. That's certainly going to turn things around. A stag hound right in front of everything, but the Jagdpanther having is no match for it. Or is it the other way around, you said? Nonetheless, the Jagdpanther will clear that stag hound out soon. Tiger advancing. Panzer grenadiers heading towards the center. No, north. Looks like southern victory point is being retaken by the Allies. Things are still looking dicey for the Wehrmacht forces. Or the Axis, whatever you'd call it. Wehrmacht was, in fact, the entire name of the German armed forces, including the Waffen-SS. A pioneer team knocked out. Things looking rather desperate. Panzer grenadiers heading towards here. Only an anti-tank gun and some commanders. The demo charge knocks out quite several. And a strafing run, but further Panzer grenadiers are ready. But they need to be quick. They need to move forwards while stormtroopers are dealing with assault. Still no assault rifles for this fellow, though. Most distressing. Now return to Mr. Foxy. Hellcat moving in. And looks like a support weapon has been sent in. Looks like from an probably from an airdrop thing, actually suppressing the stormtroopers. Tiger moving forwards, though. Opening up on the Hellcat. I'd say things might be a bit too late for that now. And machine gun cleared out. Hellcat rendered inoperable. More or less. It can still get out of there, but otherwise it's not really of much use. Northern victory point still being fought over. Armor getting salvaged for whatever it can be salvaged for. Things looking very, very uncertain for the Allies. Yes, yet. Lots of tank destroyers still. Not a single tank, although it looks like a armor command truck is. Of course, we did see a stag hound, and looks like a Firefly is on the way. Rather, a thing that can deal with Tigers and Yak Panthers with some ease. Although, again, you shouldn't be sending it right into the front. That's only going to get it knocked out. Question is, how shall this evolve? Anti-tank guns and a bit of Tetrax still about. And the stag hound sort of watching the north. More demo charges as a sort of improvised mine. Not unusual to see that. It looks like all is quiet for a moment. Rifleman heading towards the center victory point. Yak Panther opening up. Rick cleared out actually by the Hellcat, and awfully quiet. Yes, indeed, I know. My apologies. It looks like things are heating up again. Panzer getting towards the north. Tank busters with dual Panzer upgrades, but still not much in anti-infantry. Yak Panther not moving in to support though. Panzer 4 of them, opening up in one barrage. Hellcat and anti-tank are no more. And commanders with a recoilless rifle actually moving in. Quite interesting. And the tank busters are quick to get on their feet and out of there. Looks like Vexial barely has any Panzer Grenadiers left. Not encouraging.
Standing by on you, sir.
Firefly number 1 ready. Will there be further Fireflies? That would be, well, recommendable, to say the least. Carol. Oh, so very quiet. Let us speed things up. For the sake of brevity, we are seeing some radio decryption right there. Looks like the Allies are trying something slightly more clever. They are making for a rather serious assault on the eastern flank, sending in all they can. Lots of Hellcats left and a Firefly. Although another one would have been nice. Again, floating resources. Don't do that. You won't gain anything like that here in Company Fears. Elite infantry up for KriegDasVaterland, his commandos and the Tiger doing their best, but they are rather exposed. Machine gun firing away as well. 30 caliber it seems. Equipped once more by Pioneers. Krieg. Don't do that. Commandos popping in though from behind. Hellcats trying to take on a Tiger from the front. Yak Panther moving in to support. Nice there. Strafing run, clearing out a bit here. Looks like commandos getting cleared out by the bun grenade in return. And the Firefly just fires away at the Tiger, doing a bit of damage there, but the Hellcat needs to stop fighting from the front. In particular, since one of its friend there got knocked out by the Yak Panther. Commandos are dead. Looks like artillery getting called in right there. Tiger taking quite a bit of damage though, but not really a proper assault, I can't help but feel. And again, floating resources. Don't do that, for heaven's sake. Don't. I mean, if you really feel like you end up in those situations, just train yourself. Just think, if I have that many resources and I don't have anything specific to use them for, I will just buy something. Just do that. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. Train yourself to just be better at spending resources and not floating them. Because again, you might think it's a great idea, but actually, if your opponent has more resources on the battlefield than you, what does this mean? He will be able to get an advantage right there and do more damage and kill you. So when you find you have to spend resources, you will still constantly be underrepresented in a sense. So again, don't float resources like that. It's not helping you. It is in fact helping your opponent unless you have something very specific in mind. Like a Panther or something like that. But again, otherwise don't. Very important concept. And again, it's rather these games like these where you actually can't point it out and such. Firefly didn't make it out there. And again, games like these also present the need to actually spell it out repeatedly. Airborne right in the middle of the things, getting forced away. It's 242 number 3 apparently. Stormtroopers once more advancing behind them. Not a lot. Still no assault rifles for any of them. Can't help but find that a bit depressing. Yak Panther patrolling. Tiger getting repaired. And this staghound won't be living long. The big cat has it in its sights, and there we go, out of control, and boom, no more. But only 9 victory points left for the Axis. I mean, if the Allies could launch a decent assault on numerous points, they could perhaps turn things around. There we go, find your Firefly, but again, resources for another one. Why not? Why not? Allied commander, though, is absolutely shattered. The Americans have only an anti-tank gun and some airborne left. Everything else has been shattered because, again, he's been using his tank destroyers like tanks and been losing them in ridiculous amounts. But let's speed things up again. No point in sort of hanging about here where there's nothing going on. First is this Leibstandard Adolf Hitler having a bit of an easy time finally at this stage. Poor management of resources seems to be working in their favor. And rather, I can't help but feel this is rather a good example of, again, resource management, rather ending up turning things in the favor of the Axis despite poor unit preservation from their side. In particular, KriegDasVaterland. And yes, my apologies if I'm sounding hard, but again, it's a rather important lesson you need to learn. And looks like Blitzkrieg is now up, increasing the rate of fire and such, although for armored vehicles who get a really increased rate of fire, they also get a bit less inaccurate. But still, otherwise, and of course, infantry is actually also affected by increasing their rate of fire and making them move faster. And Tiger opening up, tearing through these chaps, and looks like artillery or a bombing run going in here. Nope, just decoy. Not achieving much. Firefly will be soon. No, that was artillery. And that was a Firefly. Nope, the Firefly didn't go up in fire. But the Yak Panther is on the hunt. Oh, no, it isn't. Oh dear, Vexial, decide. Stop making me look like a guy who can't decide himself. MG-42 getting flanked by airborne. Very nice maneuver right there, although the Stormtroopers do manage to kill one airborne before the retreat. Panzer Grenadiers charging in, forcing the airborne to retreat. And let us get things moving again. More Panthers arriving. Will they be surviving a bit longer?
We are losing a sector, I say again. We are losing.
Commanders charging northwards, right into these tank busters, clearing them out. Tank busters, in particular with double upgrades, are not really that much anti-infantry. And there we go, retreating. No infantry support there. Commandos popping in right into the center. Looks like the Allies are utterly desperate. Yeah, Panther opening up. No, and Panthers and Stu-42. Not looking like a happy moment from the commanders. Firefly trying to support. But I don't think it will achieve much. My apologies. And Yak Panther moving in rather boldly. Firefly out. Anti-tank gun also going to get cleared out very soon. Despite the best attempt, although again, why didn't he move in further? I mean, well, armor-piercing rounds, they are quite lethal weapons, in fact. Able to do more damage than the Yak Panther, actually. Armor command truck knocked out. Center getting cleared out again. Britain's not really able to secure much. GG from Foxy, who is apparently popping out now very soon, I suppose. Yes, indeed, has left, link behind only Mr. Coop. Oh dear, I keep mispronouncing that, I think. And there we go. Game over, a victory for the 1st SS, although rather a bit of surprising and rather a bit too close again due to rather extremely unfortunate unit preservation in the start. I mean, I can't say if it was an accident, bugs or what, but really that many MG-40s and all that other things lost so early in the game is just not right to see. So again, I mean, what I think is really the main points to be learned from this again are unit preservation and resource management. The Allies, while they probably had an idea of unit preservation, although in the end they sort of threw that out as well, their resource management was absolutely terrible. They floated too much, and of course the idea of placing your headquarters too close to the front without any defenses is of course also a very bad idea. Again, I mean, be aware of your places, your structures, how and where, and particularly as the breach point, it's nice to sort of think, well, I can take those resources there. At the same time, if your opponent breaks through and you are rather exposed there, then you are exposed and you are in a lot of trouble. Again, don't do that. very, very bad idea. In the end, though, the Axis saw through due to being slightly better at preserving their resources and managing them, although unit preservation was a bit off. And again, Hellcats are not tanks. Tank destroyers are not tanks. Repeat after me. Tank destroyers are not tanks. They are there to destroy tanks. They are not very tough. Allied tank destroyers never were. They relied on speed and their big guns. So remember that. Don't try to fight German panzers from the front. Never ever. German panzers were specifically designed to be pretty tough nuts to break from the front. So repeat after me. Do not try to engage German armor from the front. There we go. Hope you enjoyed this fight. If you did, why not subscribe? If you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own? This is Impale Dane saying cheers and try to do better than these chaps in the future. Cheers.